Joseph Rosas.
Good evening, I'm Joseph Rosas. I'm here to speak on behalf of Pete's Harbor, but I'm doing this as myself, a former state assembly candidate here in the county. And that's why I'm here, not strictly a Redwood City resident. I'm actually from Sunnyvale, but the district is all the way up the peninsula. And in the entire Bay Area, we're seeing this massive push for gentrification. We're losing all character that we had here in the Bay Area, just for the sake of, I'll say it bluntly, sucking the most money they can out of new people that were lucky enough to make a little bit in the startups and tech industries here. All across the peninsula, we're losing neighborhoods that are rich in character. The west side of East Palo Alto, I don't know if any, most of you must have heard now that they were all bought up by a single developer real estate management company. And there's a very strong push to evict residents there. Many of you know East Palo Alto is one of the largest BMR communities we have here in the Bay Area. And the big push there, they see the writing on the wall with all the new Facebook employees moving into Menlo Park, that they are trying to evict as many residents that they can, to tear down the existing units and build market rate and higher units in those areas. Likewise, this is what we see here in Redwood City at Pete's Harbor. Pete's Harbor is one of the last major BMR communities on the peninsula, specifically if you choose to live on a boat, which is a lot more sustainable, a lot more green than than any conventional way of living, even conventional BMR housing. So once again, we're trying to get rid. The developers are trying to get rid of an area rich in culture, rich in history.
It's part of the charter too, right?
Yes, and it is also part of the general plan and the city is putting their housing element at risk by removing upwards of 400 residents originally from the area at Pete's Harbor. So I'm here to ask you guys to please help. I'm speaking with the residents. They are not against development entirely. We just need as much public official help as we can to make sure that the marina itself remains commercial and publicly accessible. So people who own their boats can live there, boaters can travel and use the marina, just in a transitory for a transitory purpose, so that more people in the Bay Area and California can come and enjoy our peninsula.
Thank you, Joseph. Next cousin is James Lee.
That would be me. So, my name is James Lee. I want to introduce myself to you guys. I've been to many city council meetings and planning commission meetings. Full disclosure, I'm a member of the city's Occupy group. But I want to kind of introduce myself to you guys in a different way.
Do you know what committee we are?
Yes, the Housing and Human Concerns Committee, yes. And I was born and raised here in Redwood City. I was born in Kaiser Hospital, went to Roy Cloud, grew up on Redwood and Jefferson Avenues. I'm here because, I'm here partly to advocate for the Pete's Harbor folks, but I want to tell you a little bit about my story as well. Up until last year, I had a stable, not a very high-paying county job, but a very stable county job. It wasn't entry-level. I wasn't making an entry-level salary at all, but the only thing I could afford in Redwood City was a very small in-law unit. And the only reason I can even afford that is because I have a very nice landlord, a very liberal landlord who said, I'm not going to charge you any utilities. You can use my internet. You can use my laundry. You can use the storage space underneath the in-law unit because it's so small that you would need to buy a storage space anyway. This is the only outlet I had to be able to stay in my hometown, even with a decent, stable county job. And my concern is really that Pete's Harbor is part of the context, but we have right now about 1,000 market rate units in our development pipeline in the city, and we really need more affordable housing here. part of what's happening is because part of the problem is other cities, they're not doing enough there to basically fulfill their affordable housing obligations, and so a lot of people are coming here. And I'm sure you guys know these issues already, but I'm just asking you guys to please, I would really like to see this committee be like an advocacy committee. I would love you guys to, you know, talk to the planning commissioners, to the city council, and do what you can to make sure that affordable housing is a top priority for the city and not something that's kind of more, I wouldn't say ignored, but it's kind of put on the back burner. It's kind of put, it's kind of low priority compared to other development interests. So if you guys could take on these issues, because as part of your function is to monitor the housing element in the general plan, the harbor itself is mentioned in the general plan as an important aspect of the affordable housing element of the city. So anything you could do to stay in touch with us, any of the folks here, I would really appreciate it. And I do want to also apologize for kind of storming the gates here today, but we really wanted to make sure to talk to everyone. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And James, I think you actually filled out 2 cards.
One
Is
was
that-
for the agenda item later, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. No, we're fine. We have one extra chair over here. Everybody else is Raj.
There's a-
There's a few in the back. And just, you know, I know we mentioned planning commission and that.
Sure.
This is the housing and human concerns committee. We are appointed by the city council.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
The next card I have is from Colt Reimer.
Chair Robinson, can
Yes.
I
Excuse
interrupt
me.
briefly? Because we're in a different room and the HHCC members don't have their titles, could I stop briefly and ask the HHCC members to introduce
Yes.
themselves?
Oh, yeah.
And then
So, we'll, from us around the table, do our introductions. I'm Craig Robinson, recently appointed Vice Chair of the Housing and Human Concerns Committee.
Oh, I'm Kristen Meese, Secretary of the City of Redwood City.
My name's Karen Rout, and I'm a committee member for the HHCC.
I'm not a member of the HHCC, but I'm staff with the Redwood City Housing and County Development.
Rhonda Kaufman. And I'm Diana Reddy, I'm a member of the HHCC.
And I'm Terry Chin. I'm also not on the HHCC. I'm staff with the city, with the Parks, Recreation, Community Services Department. I manage the Fair Oaks Community Center.
And I'm Bonnie Miller, and I'm a member of the committee.
I'm Elma Montalvo, and I'm also a member of the committee as well.
And our other 2 committee members, Mark Manuel is not present today, and our chair, Cherlene Wright, she is not present either. But those members of the committee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Colt Reimer.
I'm a Redwood City resident. I have a condominium right next to the library. I'm here both for Pete's Harbor. I'm also a veteran, disabled veteran. I'm also here for the elderly now that I'm old enough. I'm here to concern about affordable housing for all those groups. I'm actually a good candidate for why affordable housing pays for itself. The difference between people going into crime and becoming a burden on the society versus going in, having a home and getting what they need to go on and become productive members. I came back from Vietnam and didn't get the help that was needed and started down a road to crime. Luckily, I straightened it out myself, but wasted a good part of my life struggling, and eventually got to college, turned that around, started teaching a little bit of college, came out here, worked for the state of California, eventually worked my way up to director, state of California, Department of Industrial Relations, 2 steps down from Jerrod Brown. Did pretty well, then went on to Silicon Valley, became one of the top people in my particular field, wrote books, taught, went on, then Vietnam caught up, and I had to retire early. I could have doubled that time had I gotten the help, and particularly a home that would have allowed me to get the counseling I needed afterwards. Affordable housing would have been a big key to go along with the counseling I needed. But without the housing, there was no way, as I moved around, to have the counseling I needed. So affordable housing does more than just provide people with a place. It also provides them with a way to grow and organize their lives and get better. And believe it or not, low-income housing isn't just for people who just minimum jobs. They're like people like me that go on to become significant members in society. And I've quadrupled any benefits that I got and paid them back multiple times over. So it really is a ticket to better citizens and better communities in the society. So I'd like you to think about that when you think about affordable housing. It does pay for itself many times over for the society as a whole.
Thank you, Mr. Reimer. The next card I have is it Andy Fraser?
Frisch.
Frisch. Thank you, Mr. Frisch.
I'm Andy Frisch. I'm here on behalf of the Kindness Women Training Center, a Redwood City-based organization that helps adults with developmental disabilities. We provide two primary services, housing services and vocational job training services to these adults with conditions such as Down syndrome, autism, cerebral palsy, other conditions like that. And just want to start off very briefly by saying thank you to the committee for your past support. We appreciate the opportunity to give an introduction to the newer members of our services, and then to give you an update on some of our actions and hopes or intentions for the future. About 24 years ago, we entered into a partnership that was a win-win-win between Kainos and 2C Target Education Welfare, an important nonprofit organization serving seniors in our community, and the city at the time. And it met a number of needs, and ultimately wound up with Kainos having a new home for its vocational services. That's on Middlefield Road. We've been in that building since 1989 and have, I think, provided wonderful, I believe, good services to many, many individuals with developmental disabilities, helping many people gain employment, provide productive activity to others. In those 24 years, we've loved our location. At this point, we feel like we've outgrown it. And so we're looking at the possibility of acquiring another property. In the process to acquire that other property would be to work with the city and the county to repay, well, first to sell the existing property, to repay the city and the county the loans that we got to acquire the building from 2C 24 years ago, and then to ask the city via the Housing and Human Concerns Committee and the county through its counterpart for the proceeds of that sale to be reinvested in the similar purpose, in another grant/loan to kind of help acquire that property. This is a process we plan on going through the regular NOFA deadlines that have already been established, but I wanted to be here to let you know our intentions on that. It's a challenge in getting a number of moving parts among a number of entities working at the same time. The timing is tough, the costs are significant, and commitments are important. So I just wanted to come here, let you know what we're working on, and we'll do the same with the county. We've been working closely with city staff. At the same time, we're trying to increase the amount of affordable housing available to adults with developmental disabilities, and we plan on applying again for funding to try and acquire a house that would be permanent housing for low-income individuals with developmental disabilities. So just wanted to take a moment to let you know what we're up to. Thank you for your past support and for all you do for our community, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Frisch. The next card I have is from Leslie Webster.
Yes, where do I start? I've been a Peninsula resident since 1981. I've lived in Redwood City twice before moving to Pete's Harbor in 2008. I moved to Pete's Harbor and bought a boat because I got tired of paying $1,400 in rent in Menlo Park and wanted to own my own property. I've been laid off twice since moving aboard, and if I didn't live in the affordable way that I do, I would be on the streets. We're coming to you because since September 20th, we have been trying to talk to the city of Redwood City and have not been heard. We have gone to several city council meetings, planning commission meetings, and it was not until we went to Sacramento to talk to the State Lands Commission that anyone actually heard our concern about affordable housing and how this city is jeopardizing the certification of the housing element, which is mentioned in the 2010 general plan. I am disappointed that we had to go to the state level to be heard. I understand that your committee advocates for housing between the city council and the planning commission. I understand that you did not have meetings at the end of the year. I wish you did. I wish we could have spoken to you before now. On September 20th, when we first found out about this plan, there were 144 live-aboard residents on 86 boats at Pete's Harbor. There were also approximately 40 residents in RVs. This is a lot of affordable housing elements that are units that are being removed. This is in addition to, this is almost a grand total of 500 residents who have been removed from marinas, Peninsula Marina and Pete's Harbor in the last few years. And there is no plan to replace these units. This is my concern. My concern is also that your chairperson spoke at one of the Planning Commission meetings regarding Pete's Harbor and talked about how the Paul's Corporation's plan met the general plan and urged that the plan be approved. If you look at the building community element in the general plan, this does not fit the plan. Pete's Harbor was mentioned in the general plan. If you look at the housing element, this does not fit the general plan. So we would appreciate anything that you can do to help us. Many of us have moved. Many people would move back, and there are still quite a few of us remaining at Pete's Harbor, so we would appreciate your help.
Thank you, Ms. Webster. The next card is from Thomas. Help me with the last name.
Dvorak, that's me.
Okay.
Yeah, hi. My name is Thomas Dvorak. I'm a general building contractor. I've lived here in Redwood City for 30 years. Lived in Pete's Harbor for 20 years. So I've been part of the boating community since over 30 years. I started out in Dockdown Marina, where I actually built my steel sailing yacht, and then I was in Peninsula Marina, and now for the last 20 years I've been in Pete's Harbor, you know. And so with the closure of this outer harbor right there, I'm kind of looking at all of my work that I established for myself for the last 30 years is in the South Bay, right? So I cannot get any liveaboard slip anywhere in the bay south of Oakland, for an example. So for me, I would have to move someplace new and start out new. Or I'm going to have to give up my boat and try to find me a place here, because I cannot commute from past Oakland down to Menlo Park and Los Altos, where all of my work is. And so, yeah, so I've been seeing this now with Peninsula Marina being decimated, you know, just to accommodate these luxury condos there, and it's basically quite a social injustice to decimate the whole boating community here in the South Bay, just so a developer can charge more money for his condo units, where he could build them in all kinds of different areas right there. But the waterfront cannot be replaced. These marinas have been here for 50, 60 years, and once you take them out, they're gone. And the little waterfront walkway from this development is not a substitute for the boating community, you know. And so it has been low-income housing for a lot of people, but also for just a way of life for all of us boaters that have our home to be a boat, a yacht, whatever, and chose that life. I actually, came over here from Germany some 30 plus years ago, and started out with getting involved in boats and all this stuff, and then I found Doctor, and I could get a space to build my own boat, and I did. And so, to me this is a travesty to go and eliminate Pete's completely, especially where the outer harbor could be incorporated in any kind of development. It just would mean a few less profits for this Paul's Corporation, you know? So to me, this is just an injustice. I mean, the same with Peninsula Marina. I mean, we're 400 boats there, and we're like, you know, it's gone. And instead, we've got these overpriced condos right there where the lowest unit starts, what, at a couple $1,000s a month or something? It's crazy. They can be inland any place, but by basically displacing us, they can make now more profits, and that's all it is. It's just about getting more money for a waterfront property. It could be building in any place and take a bunch of old properties where older buildings are there or some commercial whatever, and then build a beautiful unit.
And then don't have to decimate the waterfront.
Yeah. So that's basically all I had to say about this.
Thank you, Mr. Dvorak. In the interest of time, we'll keep moving along. We generally only do 15 minutes of comment, so I can take a few more comments. Generally, we go 3 minutes, but if you can keep them a little shorter, we want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to speak, if that's okay. The next person is Paul Suppley.
Suppley, right. Thank you, Paul Suppley. Living on the water is a special way of life. It's part of Redwood City's heritage and history. We were founded on the water through Redwood Slough, where they used to bring the redwoods down from Woodside and load them onto the schooners to build San Francisco. That's our heritage, and it's being decimated, as Thomas said. It's not just the affordable housing, which is an important component, but everybody, almost everybody. There's a few retired people and some people that are disabled, but we're all working professionals. I mean, we've doctors, lawyers. I'm a producer. People that worked at NASA. I mean, we're all professionals there, but we choose to live on the water. It's not for everyone, but it's certainly a wonderful way to live. And I really, even if I could afford it, wouldn't really want to have a house. I love being on the water. And it's part of our history. It's actually it's designated by the state of California as being a public trust land, the outer harbor. It's designated to be a commercial and public marina. And that's going to go away, and once it's lost, it's going to be lost forever. Lost forever. We have Peninsula Marina gone, Pete's Harbor gone, Docktown going soon. It's yeah, it's
Harbor.
Yeah, they're all gone. So the South Bay and our heritage is going to be erased, replaced by faceless, nameless, homogenized buildings. That's all I have to say, too. But just to continue quickly, affordable housing for everyone, and especially the boaters, which is an important part of the Redwood City community.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
The next card I have is Alison Madden.
Thanks for hearing it. I don't kind of some of what's been said. I just completely agree with, so I'll try not to repeat any of it. I'm a single working mom. My oldest son is in a charter here in Redwood City. He has autism. It's hard on us to make transitions, and I've been looking at making the transition down to Pete since 1996. Before they started school, I wanted them to get through middle school. I moved, I've lived in San Carlos, I've lived in Redwood City, I've lived in Woodside, and all of the time going down to visit Pete's Harbor, never knowing it was ever for sale. I kind of missed the planned development community. But it's something that I've been looking at for a long time, and it's very hard during the time that I was working as an attorney, and I still am, for a very long period of time to have stability. I overpaid in housing, $2,700, $3,000 a month, and for me, that's just no longer an option. And in fact, it's not even an option to move off of voted Pete's right now onto land because of some health and professional transitions. So that's my personal story. And, I've been a main advocate of keeping the outer harbor. It is a public lease. It's not privately owned land. It was very, very careless not to have looked into this more before the Planning Commission voted on it. In their defense, Blake did try to get assurance that the state lands had been resolved, and it really hadn't. They were met with 2 days before we were. This was concealed from July 23rd to September 20th. We were only told September 20th, and then launched into an election season, changing elected officials, people who didn't have time, for holidays from, Halloween through New Year's, shutdowns of, so it's been very hard for us to get any kind of hearing. And it's really just been a rushed procedure. A plan development permit is supposed to take from 4 to 6 months. It was pushed inside of 3. I did a Public Records Act request that was done at the request of Paula Uccelli. So, and people in the general plan says that you're gonna reach out to stakeholders in a development. We were not only reached out to, we were deceived for 2 months, and then it was fast-tracked. So, it's just been a very concerning process, People have been saying they didn't realize there was a Chinatown in Redwood City, to analogize to the movie. So I think that really that opportunity for a fair hearing and a process in the sunshine didn't happen. And not even one elected official has so far heard about it. It's only been planning commission meetings and then people from this commission and the port actually testifying in the public hearing. I personally think is not proper, especially the kinds of things they were saying. So I just kind of wanted to put that on your radar, and anything you can do in your purview to help us. It is a BMR community. It's a lively, vibrant, close-knit, safe community, 91 registered voters, and just displaced over a holiday season at a time when people couldn't sell their boats, dangerous to move their boats. I mean, it's just really, I think, a human travesty. Oh, I just wanted to say the pilots, the veterans, the building trades, the mounted patrol, almost everyone we talk to is on our side.
Thank you, Ms. Madden. Staff, did we start promptly for the one-day count training?
We need to, because there are other people coming,
I
so.
thought so.
Yes.
So, I have 2 more speakers cards. Generally, we would move on, but I can give each of you a minute if that is okay. Is that reasonable? All right, we'll move quickly. Jerrod.
Thank you very much.
Help me with the last name, Jerrod.
Jerrod Baudriac.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving us the extra time and hearing us out today. My story here is I moved to the Bay Area about 6 months ago to pursue what I believe is the American dream. I got offered a job at an IT firm out here, not high paying, not enough money to really go get an expensive apartment that I would need to be close to the office and work the kind of hours that are required of me. And I came across Pete's Harbor and purchased a vessel, and there's some issues around that being running and so forth. But the fact is, I've been looking, and there's nowhere I can live around here that is affordable for me. And so for me to continue and pursue this has now become a hardship. There are some other options for me, but it's going to be long drives and so forth. And so, I'm just hopefully reaching out to you, and whatever you can do as far as what's in your purview here, it would be great on behalf of us. I think this is a really great community, and it'll be a loss to Redwood City to see it gone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. And the last card is Wendy Stone.
Hi, yeah. My son was living with us before we were told we had to leave, and he's going to school. And now he's spending all of his student loan money on housing and eats ramen when he can and tries to get back and have us feed him. I asked him if he thought maybe he should go back to Denver. There's no way he's going to be able to keep up trying to live here and go to school, which I think is horrible. I think there should be a way for him to be able to go to school affordably and live in a decent place. I've seen affordable housing in Redwood City, and it's horrible. It's filled with cockroaches, and no one should have to live there. I think it's disgusting. I don't understand why only rich people can live here. And why we're even now looking, if we can't stay in Redwood City, because if we had to live on land, that's what would happen for my husband and me. And he's tied to the VA, but I'm thinking about going back to Denver. I really wish I wouldn't have to, because I think that this would be a pretty nice place to stay if we could afford it. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stone. I hope you all understand that according to the Brown Act, we cannot have any deliberations. We have to stick on our agenda. But I think on behalf of the committee, we always appreciate public comment and hearing about what you're experiencing up in the community. And we are ourselves working on behalf of the city of Redwood City for the benefit of all residents. So thank you for coming. The next agenda item, as we move on, is the public hearing. Thank you very much.